I'm biased about Prime. But
yeah,
keep winning. And keep winning in style and keep talking about the kids and keep showing what you're doing. Did you see who was number 3 in name, image, and likeness money that I saw on the list? His son. Did you see whose name is everywhere in Jackson State?
Coach Prime. Rich.
It's Coach Prime. Look, man.
Coach Prime.
And he deserves all the respect. You know how I feel about him. Last thing, in terms of anybody, how serious he is, and I know he's doing podcasts and he's working on Barstool and people think that's a sign of unseriousness. He might. And he's talking about, like, are you really going to coach? Or are you going to be a sideshow? He's not. That's been his whole life has been being called a sideshow, and then all he does is be a professional and crush it.
And then people are surprised.
And then people are like, what is that for? It's a persona. That's what it is. But it's also a persona that is magnetic for everybody. And in this day and age, when you need to have a leg up on reaching somebody, reaching a kid, you need to have a leg up on getting your program out there because everybody's trying it. Give this a try. Coach Prime. I'm serious. And I'll just tell this last story before we'll throw it a break about whether he's serious or not. I used to host the selection program for the Pro Football Hall of Fame announcement. Before they announced it an NFL Honors, years ago, they would just call the Hall of Famers up at a press conference at the Super Bowl. They would just go ahead and just announce who's made it at the Super Bowl because the selection of the Pro Bowl, of the Pro Football Hall of Famers, was held on the Saturday before the Super Bowl. The selectors were all in a room, and they would come up and announce it. And players who thought that they could get in were in town. They were in town just in case they were named. And if they were named, they were going to go and show up at the press conference. And if not, they would go to the airport. The year Warren Moon got in, he was driving around the city where he would either get a call saying you're in the hall and he would go to the press conference. And if he didn't, he would go to the airport. That's what I was told. And the first year we did a Super Bowl coverage at the NFL Network was in Houston. And Barry Sanders and John Elway were getting in. And they were in our green room, which was right outside of the convention hall room that was being used for the press conference. And it gave the NFL Network an idea. Like, they're here. That's something that everyone wants to know about as it happens. Let's make a TV show out of it. So I then began to MC the press conference, which was wild. Because I would have to stand up there and vamp while Joe Horrigan of the Hall of Fame called the guys on the phone.
Do that. I would sit next to Joe.
It was wild.
That was one of those cool things.
It was wild. And I would then interview one of the Hall of Famers on the phone in front of a press conference of people just sitting there. And they were all, the reporters were like, what the hell is this all about? Why is this now suddenly a song and dance on NFL Network? This was just something I used to sit here, take notes, and it would be over. Because it was a program. Then we would just do away with the press conference. We just did a television show. And one by one, after the Hall of Famers got the call, they would show up at the set that we would created with still the media members in the audience. We turned it into our own show. We got rid of the press conference and the podium and all that stuff. It was me in a chair and 4 other chairs. And one Hall of Famer would, after another, would join, and then we'd have a panel discussion. One year, it was Deion's turn to go in. And we knew he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. He knew he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. Every other person on planet Earth knew he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. And we told Deion, you know, this is when we're going to have it. He said no. He said no. Why did Deion Sanders say no? Because he was holding a youth football practice at the time. And he was not going to look these kids in the face and say, I'm leaving for my own personal moment. We sent a car for him, and he wouldn't get in it. He was livid at even being asked to do this for the network and for the Hall. Livid. Because he's not going to look a kid in the face and say, you got to give me your all, when I'm now an individual saying, see ya, leaving practice, I got to go take this Hall of Fame individual honor. That's the guy.
But then he came at the end and he was wearing
he
his
showed up with his whistle.
Yeah, whistle and
correct.
And his
and he was pissed.
Suit. Yeah.
He was pissed.
Yeah.
He was pissed.
I remember.
I remember that.
And then finally, I'm like, Deion, you got in the Hall of Fame. Let's,
Yeah, I know.
let's just
Take
take a breath. Let's get through it. Let's get through it.
It's a great day. Yeah.
And that's the guy like, I don't know. It might be about him. Food for thought. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.